Hello, Facebook world. It has become necessary for me to speak out. I've been calling on all my sisters to stand up, rise up, speak up, and be heard. We have to act up. What is going on in the world today is an atrocity that is beyond my understanding, and I'm not willing to just sit back and accept it. I am not a settler. I'm an Aquarian, and by nature, I'm a humanitarian. And injustice to any human being on this planet is injustice to every human being. Injustice to any African anywhere on this planet is an injustice to all Africans everywhere. And like over the past few years, you've been seeing all these killings of our black men. Our kings are dying at the hands of racist cops. Unarmed black men are getting killed. Our children are getting killed on a daily basis. I have people that are going to say, well, what about the black on black crime? Well, if you live in a particular neighborhood, the crimes that are going to be committed against each other are usually by the people that look like you. If you live in Chinatown, it's going to be Chinese on Chinese crime. If you live in Little Italy, it's going to be Italian against Italian crime. So therefore, if you live somewhere in a city, the crimes are going to be black on black crime. But we need to stop killing our black men. We need to stop killing our black men. We need to be unified, because in unity there's power. And when you have that power, you have control. If you keep killing each other, it's not going to help. Okay? And with the laws that are passed now, same-gender marriages, it means that people are not going to be able to procreate. So if you're killing out the race, guess what's going to happen? We will become extinct. Extinct from this planet. We will used to be here. I'm also looking at that situation that is going on in the Dominican Republic. And people seem to think that that situation really involves Haitians. No, it doesn't involve Haitians. It involves Dominicans. These people were born in the Dominican Republic, so rightfully they're Dominicans. They may be of Haitian descent, but they're not Haitians. Some of them might be Haitians. But I don't understand that law that is going to be retroactive or not going to be, but is retroactive, that states that anyone born after 1929 in the Dominican Republic whose ancestors were Haitian would now have to be stripped of their nationality and their citizenship. That doesn't make sense to me. How can you make that law retroactive? And the sad thing is, people around the world seem to think it's none of their business. It doesn't matter because it doesn't involve them. It's not happening to them or anybody they know. I know Haitians that could care less. I have Haitian friends that seem to be very removed from the situation because they were born in the U.S. or they live in the U.S. and they think it has nothing to do with them. But even for Africans who live in this country and were born in this country, the fact that your nationality is hyphenated, like you're Indian American, they have Chinese American, they have Cuban Americans, but more sadly, they have African Americans. How can you be African American if you were born in the United States? You're American, period. There should be no hyphenation to differentiate your race and who you are. Because race and nationality are two different things. I'm a Trinidadian. There's nothing that I have to fill out that says, okay, you're African Trinidadian, or are you Indian Trinidadian? Are you Chinese Trinidadian? I'm a Trinidadian. I'm an African born in Trinidad. But I'm a Trinidadian. That's my nationality. That's my citizenship. How can someone just be stripped of their birth citizenship and their birth nationality, and we sit back and think it's okay? And some people said they didn't understand how serious the issue was. They don't even understand what it is. So let me break it down for you. Let's assume that you came from ancestors who were stolen, abducted, kidnapped, traded, sold, and distributed throughout the diaspora, the African diaspora. And they've been living there for years, against their will, beaten, raped, lynched, killed, abused, whipped, yeah, just name it. Every nasty thing that you could think that you could do to any human, any inhumane thing was done to them for years. And they survived. Some of them lived to be over 100 years old, 115 years old. That's how strong we are. But nonetheless, they endured that evil behavior and injustice for over 400 years. They've lost their last names, they've lost their culture, they have lost their heritage, and had to adopt something else that's not even of them. And now they've become comfortable. But they were also forced to breed for the benefit of their slave masters, their financial benefit of their slave masters. So they've had children who's had children who's had children who's had children who's had children that are Americans, born in America. And these children have gone from being niggers to being Negroes to being colored to now where they are now called African Americans. And whatever subcategory white supremacy seemed to put us in, we seem to accept it. I don't know who said that we have to sit back and be called African American, because guess what? In 20 years, it is going to be politically incorrect to refer to someone as an African American. They're going to just have to refer to us as Africans, no matter where we are in the diaspora. All right? That's just my prediction. Nonetheless, the point I'm trying to make is that let's assume that Congress passed a bill that said that a retroactive bill now that says anyone that was born after 1865 will now be stripped of their citizenship and their nationality. Any African born after 1865 and living in the U.S., and they were born in the U.S., you will now be stripped of your nationality and your citizenship. And you have 24 hours to go back to Africa. How is that going to affect you? I really need you to think about it. How is that going to affect you, your whole family, your whole generation? First to begin, you don't even know where to go in Africa. Your name has been changed. So you're not going to find anybody with your name. I was in Kenya for 6 weeks trying to find the Browns. I didn't run into any Browns there. I saw people that looked like my family. I saw people that looked like my mother's family with the high cheekbones, slim bodied people, gap in the teeth, hips, like my mom. I saw people like that, and I said they could probably be my family. I don't know, because we don't share the same last name. I don't even speak the language. So now they tell you have to go back to Africa. What are you going to do? See, that's the same situation that these Dominicans of Haitian ancestry are now suffering. That's the dilemma. Now, we know what has happened in Haiti over the past few years. I mean, they've had so many disasters, natural disasters and man-made disasters. They still have people living in tents in Haiti since the earthquake in 2010, January 2010. They still have people living in tents. And recently, they were also evicting them from the tents and from the park or the land, wherever they were living, To go live where? I don't know. But in the amount of time that they've been living in the tents, something could have been done to give these people proper housing. Okay? One thing I will tell you about people in poverty, they're very creative and resourceful. And if you give them the materials, they will build a house. If you give them shipping containers, they will take it and turn it into multi-story buildings. So there's no need for them to be sleeping in a park and in a tent. And then when the winds come and the rain come, they all out of whack because they don't have shelter. And people are being denied their basic human rights every day. Food, shelter, and clothing. Food, people don't get. But now, you want to take 250,000 Dominicans, some Haitians that, might be migrants that are in the Dominican Republic, because after the earthquake, they did take some people over there. But now they want to kick everybody out. So 250,000 of them to go to Haiti, a country with like 8 million people already. That's the second poorest country in the world. The only country poorer than Haiti is Zimbabwe, where it's cheaper to buy a piece of land than bread. Now you want to send these people back to Haiti. And I want to know what guidelines are they using to determine who is Haitian and who is not Haitian. What guidelines are they using? Obviously, it's going to be based on the color of your skin. Because if you have people that are speaking the same language with the same accent, how are you going to determine who is who? That's like when you go to the Caribbean islands. Okay, let's say you go to Trinidad and you have Chinese, Indian, Syrian, white people, other Caucasian people living in Trinidad. And if nobody says anything and they're just silent, you have no idea. But as soon as they open their mouths, okay, this is a Trini. It's the same. You go to Jamaica, it's the same thing. They're going to speak with that same dialect or that they have the same accent. How come you are now determining who is of Haitian descent and who isn't? So to me, that rule that they're passing is really saying we don't want no dark-skinned people here in the Dominican Republic. Because, a lot of Dominicans don't even admit that they're black. They say they're Dominican. I'm not black, I'm Dominican. I'm not black, I'm Spanish. And I want to let these people know you're nothing but a Spanish-speaking nigger. You are not the language that you speak. You're not. So I don't know what is the disgrace of being identified as an African or being identified as being black. But now you want these people out of your country and you're not even doing it with for these people to have any semblance of some type of dignity. You're killing people. You're chopping up children in the street. You're chopping up men. You're tying men to lampposts and beating them. You're hanging them from posts and trees. You're beating women. You're breaking into their homes and smashing their belongings, even though the police says that is their job. They're not doing it, but you're not getting arrested for doing it, and you think it's okay. Let me tell you this. No good could come on you and your generations with that type of inhumane and behavior and the injustice. No good could come over you. You have to change that. We cannot look at that situation and do nothing and think it doesn't concern us. I want to say big up to my son, Make It Happen, for making it happen, for making moves. You did not acquire your rebellious and revolutionary ways dishonestly. Okay, you're the seed, the fruit of my womb. And that is who I am. You're a male version of me. And I really applaud you and your fellow Trinidadian youths who are taking the bull by the horn. And not just talking about it, but being active and being proactive about it, and making demands and making requests. And I hope everything goes smoothly. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. When it's easy, you do it easy. And when it's hard, you do it hard. Just do it. Damn it. Get it done. I don't know why Kamala Prasad Basessa is doing nothing about it, and she is the head of the CARICOM. You cannot turn a blind eye and think that it's okay. This is going to kick up in your face. It is. All right? Regionally, we need to do something. The only prime minister, only government leader that has spoken out so far against it is the prime minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. He's the only person that has said anything. I think he's probably the only one that has some testicular fortitude in his political position to say something. So I am appealing to all of you who are watching this right now to please share what's going on. Talk about it. Post about it. Act on it. Get people to become active. What is going on in Haiti is beyond prayers and simple protest. We have to become proactive. What is going on in the Dominican Republic is beyond prayers and protest. We have to become proactive. And when you want change, it's going to require a revolution. And in a revolution, lives can be lost because blood is going to be shed if necessary.